Hey, yo, what's good, Phin Nation? Welcome back to season 2 of the Phin Tank, the world's number one Dolphin show. It's your boy Esteban Big Guapo Rodriguez.
I'm Alfredo, the leader of 2 and On. We're back for season 2, man.
And it feels like we're missing something, huh?
Yeah, I mean, Anthony unfortunately departed us and graduated, but
Rest in peace.
yeah, rest in peace. He's still alive, don't get me wrong, but rest in peace to Anthony's Phin Tank career. However, we did recast with another Anthony.
With not just one, and not just one.
Another Anthony.
Not just one person,
but
2 new co-anchors. So without further ado, let us introduce Zev and Anthony, bruh. Hey, what's good, y'all?
Welcome, boys.
Welcome to the show, bro.
Appreciate it.
What's good? What's good, Zev? Alright, bro. So, tell us a little bit about yourselves, huh?
Well, my name is Anthony. Obviously, I'm replacing the old Anthony, but I feel like I'll bring an interesting twist to the Dolphins. I've been a Dolphins fan all my life, born and raised in Miami, born and raised in the 305. Currently working at Sirius XM. Love my Fins, love my boy Tua, I know. He's a member of 2 and On, but Tua's our guy, and I'm super excited for this season and things to come for the Fins.
Yeah, I'm Zeph. I'm also a Dolphins fan, born and raised in Miami, and I'm excited for the season. Also part of the sideline crew, as you guys may know, and let's talk some football, baby.
Let's go.
Yeah. All right, guys. So let's get started. All right. What are we thinking about the Dolphins? What are we thinking about the preseason? Talk to me. What's going on?
Main thing that I took away from the preseason is that we're just trying to pick off where we left the team last year. You know, I feel like the biggest issue was obviously health, and I've been saying this forever. If we get 17 games out of our starting quarterback, I think this team is a Super Bowl contender. As much as the big media outlets don't want to say so. So I don't think there was anything too major to pick out. Obviously, we missed out on Dalvin Cook. We missed out on Jonathan Taylor. Jeff Wilson's going to start the season on IR. We're going to be missing Jalen Ramsey, which is going to hurt the team. But overall, I don't think there were too many big storylines out of preseason that, tell us something that we didn't already know about this team.
Yeah, I agree. I think Tua had a couple good drives in there in the preseason. Like to see, obviously his first throw or first drive, he had an interception, but bounced back with a 90-yard touchdown drive. So offense looks good. I'm excited. I think they're going to be a good team this year.
The preseason allowed me to keep my eyes on 2 really big names, 2 youngsters. Rookie Devon Achane, running back from Texas A&M, 3rd-round draft pick. I love him as our starting running back. I know he's injured. He's a little, banged up. But I think as we go on later in the season, I think he's going to be able to take the dominating roles from the running back position, take him away from Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert. And I also love Eazy-E, Eric Eguzama, the wide receiver from Texas Tech who we drafted last year. He's projected right now as the wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5 for the Dolphins. But I really do think he can emerge as a strong wide receiver 3. He can beat a guy like Berrios. He can beat a guy like Cedric Wilson and carve out a great spot for him this season.
I would hope so. He had a really good preseason in 2022, so we're all waiting for his breakout season. I really hope this is the year that we get it from him.
I don't think I don't think he's going to be playing such a big part just because he's still young. I think we're going to see Berrios and some of the other guys play more, especially in that 3rd receiver, 4th receiver role. And I want to touch on what you said about losing on Jonathan Taylor, Dalvin Cook. Obviously, those are big names, big impact players. You want them on the team, but I trust our running back room. I think we're going to run the ball a lot more and a lot better this year. And losing out on those guys, obviously would be an upgrade, but I don't think it's such a big impact as we may think it is. Dolphin fans want those guys here, but those teams may have been asking for too much, or those players, Dalvin Cook, may be asking for too much money that the Dolphins aren't willing to give up. And I think they're confident in the room they got.
Yeah, I think we're a solid team, all right? I don't think this is where any team is going to be not afraid of us necessarily, but we should be taken seriously, all right? We are a serious team. But so, as it seems now, is the rest of our division. I mean, I don't know. I think our division might be the most, talented, or the hardest division in the NFL. I mean, now that, the Jets have acquired Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback and so much more. The Bills have always been like on top. Even the Patriots, like they've done some moves. Like
Yeah, you can't ever really count them out.
They got
Exactly.
Bill C, Bill O'Brien. I think Mac Jones is going to be better this year as well.
So how do we feel against this new division, playing in this new division, especially because a lot of sports analysts are saying that the Dolphins might not even make the wild card this year.
Well, I just want to say that every time I turn on like sports networks and sports news, they're always talking about the Jets. That team is so hyped up right now. Everyone's talking about them as Super Bowl champs. But I think you're wrong. I think the Dolphins are a team that you should be scared of. I think we're good enough, honestly, to compete with the best teams in the NFL. I think, yes, our division is the hardest in the NFL right now, and I don't think that's a question. There's some arguments you can make, but I think the Dolphins are in the hardest division. And all three of those teams have a very good chance of making the playoffs if you go, just looking at their roster and how they've performed in the past and projecting them out. But three teams is not very likely to make it. But honestly, I could see a possibility with all three teams making it. But I can also see a possibility with the Dolphins taking the number 1 seed in the entire conference or winning the division.
I agree, because I think the Bills are actually taking a step back this year. They have a situation with Stephon Diggs that they have no clue where that's going to go. So I think if you play a whole season with your having an uncertain future with your number 1 wide receiver, that's going to take Josh Allen back. He's going to probably have to carry the ball more. And if you've seen Josh Allen play for more than 5 minutes, that guy he's really reckless with his body. And God forbid he gets injured. I don't know. I'm not seeing the Bills as contenders in the way that they have been in previous years. And even then, they haven't gotten past the divisional round in a while. So the Bills, I think they're going to take a step back this year.
One of my biggest questions about the Bills is specifically their defense. Von Miller, obviously right now on IR, he was injured about middle through the season against the Detroit Lions, and he was not able to return for the rest of the season. Losing their top tackler, Tremaine Edwards, to the Chicago Bears was a huge deal, and no one really cared about it during the offseason. But I do think that the Bills' defense is going to take a step down. I do think, you have the opportunity for guys like Kare Elam, their former first-round pick at the cornerback position, to really emerge as a superstar. But on the same end, the rest of their secondary is getting up there in age. I don't think they're going to have the same dominance that they've had for the past 5 years. And I think the door really is open in the AFC. I think if you look at it from a roster perspective, I think the Jets do have the best roster, but that's also off-season champions. You don't want to be the paper champion. You want to be the champion who wins the division. You want to have the most wins, and that comes from a full team format. And when you look at all teams, all things considered, I do think the Jets are going to struggle a little bit with Aaron Rodgers. I do not think that Aaron Rodgers is his back-to-back MVP form anymore. I do think that the Bills are going to take a step back, and I think that the door is wide open for Miami to win this division. Injuries have been a huge concern for them. Obviously, losing Jalen Ramsey hurt us massively. Like I mentioned, Devon Achane didn't make the situation much better. But I do think, you mentioned it earlier in the show, if the Dolphins have 17 healthy games of Tua Tagovailoa, they will be one of the top teams in the NFL. They will be one of the top teams in the AFC. And realistically, you could open the door and look at the Miami Dolphins winning the Super Bowl this year.
And with that being said, we think that the Dolphins are going to be, Super Bowl contenders. We're thinking very highly of the team right now. So let's just focus in on the first game of the week, all right? The Dolphins are going to play the Jets week 1 this week.
Chargers.
Yeah, we've been talking about the Jets for so long. The Chargers. We're playing the LA Chargers in LA again this season. What do we think is going to happen? All right, are we going to gain a redemption, or is just nothing going to change?
The biggest storyline coming out of this game, obviously, is the debate between Justin Herbert and Tua Tagovailoa. It's loomed over both of their heads their entire career, specifically Tua Tagovailoa. Before he got Tyreek Hill, there was a lot of questions on whether or not he could be a starting quarterback, and both Miami fans and NFL fans in general, there was whispers that maybe the Dolphins should have taken Justin Herbert.
Not me. I always believed in my guy.
I agree. I think Tua was the better prospect at the time, and I'm a little biased there. But I do believe that the Dolphins are going to win in week 1. I think the Chargers are an incredibly talented team, but they have a huge issue of injuries and stability on that team. I think Brandon Staley is not a good coach. I think he will get outcoached by Mike McDaniel the same way he did last year in LA as a rematch in SoFi Stadium. I do think Miami's going to be able to get it done, start the year on the right foot. On Sunday Night Football. It's a great game, a great matchup. I think your X factors on both sides. You have Tyreek Hill is definitely a huge X factor in this game. He claims that he's going to go for 2,000 yards this season. We'll see.
He was on pace for it last
was
year.
on pace
I
for
believe
it.
it.
Yeah.
We can have a great start. He can have a great start to his season.
Yeah.
If he has a big game against a relatively weak Chargers secondary. And I think the X factor for the LA Chargers is Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. I think if they're able to bring the pressure onto a Tagovailoa, it will ease the tensions for the Chargers, and they can win that game. It's really a toss-up.
Yeah.
It should be a very fun game to watch. It's my pick for game of the week, but I do have Miami beating the Chargers.
That's probably what worries me the most is their defense, because the Dolphins' offensive line feels like it's been the weakest part of the team since the team was founded back in the 60s. I've never seen a Dolphins team with a good offensive line.
Yeah, right.
We just heard that Liam Eichenberg is going to be starting again this year, which I'm not very happy about.
Yeah.
Teron Armstead is a question mark almost every single week since he signed here, so we don't know yet. And I'm very worried, considering the history we have with Tua taking hits. But I'm confident in Tua that he did the work this offseason to not be affected so much by those hits like he was last year. But overall, like you already said, Mike McDaniel, we do expect him to outcoach. I'm a little worried though, because last year there were times where I thought he tried to get a little too cute, considering that he was playing with Teddy Bridgewater and Skylar Thompson for most of the year. So yeah, that has me a little skeptical about him. However, I'm still confident in this team to take the win.
I do think the Dolphins are going to beat the Chargers. I am picking them to win. We did lose to them last year. I understand Tyreek got hurt during that game, but Tua did not have his best performance. He wasn't playing too well that game.
He was like 3 or 14 at one point?
Yeah, it was not good. He ended up like completing only 10 passes, almost through like 30 attempts.
Yeah.
Had 140 yards. It was not a great game for him. So I would like him to see him, with this whole storyline of Herbert and him like always being compared. I would like him to step up, to the noise, to the criticism, and prove that he was worth the selection. He's the right guy for this team. He's the better player of the two of them. And I don't think that conversation so much has been looming over Herbert, as you said. I think it's more over Tua because, Herbert has kind of proven himself as like a top 10 quarterback, and can even potentially be a top 5. Now it's time for Tua to stay healthy, complete a year, and put himself in that conversation as well, which I think is very possible for him to do if he continues off what he started off doing last year.
With that being said, we all want to see the Dolphins succeed. We all want to see the Dolphins take the dub in this first game. So let's just get in more specific now. What are we saying the score will be? What are our predictions? Because that's something we do at the end of the show. We give our predictions for the following game. So let's start off with Zeth.
Wait, real quick, do we want to give our record predictions for the season?
Our record prediction?
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't do it last year, but sure, why not?
First episode.
We can do our score and record, like back.
All right.
Let's do it.
So I think both defenses are going to be improved this year, but I do still think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Both high-powered offenses. So I'm going to go 31-27 Dolphins.
Okay.
It's going to be a fun game. It'll be a shootout. Like I said earlier, this is my pick for game of the week in week 1. I do think that the Dolphins are going to come out on top, and I think it'll be a 27-24 victory. It'll be very close. I don't think it's going to be necessarily a shootout, but it will be interesting, and the later drives in this game will end up deciding who's going to win it.
Yeah, I think the Dolphins just have a little bit more on offense than the Chargers do, so I'm going to go 27-21 Dolphins.
I don't know why, but we've all said it. 27 is that magic number.
Yeah.
I was thinking 27 before we even started shooting. Yeah, I don't know why, but I'm thinking, Dolphins win 27-20. I'm gonna give the Dolphins, a little bit more leeway. I think they pull off a solid
To
win.
be honest, all of us predicting Dolphins. I understand we're all Dolphins fans, and it's a Dolphins podcast, so
I
it's
don't
scaring
know.
me a little bit.
It could be biased.
Scaring me a
But
little
it's
bit.
the first.
Just a little bit
It's the
biased.
first game. We should be hopeful. We're all hopeful.
Here's the thing, though. Last season, every time we recorded, I was always a pessimist. I thought we would lose like half our games. I don't know if
And
you
those are the
remember.
games we won.
And
bro.
every time we
step
won.
up and pick the Chargers now.
So I feel like I have a little bit more reason to be an optimist this year.
It's a great team, bro.
Yeah.
You got nothing. No choice.
Their expectations are definitely higher this year.
Yeah, so I think we're at the level now where we can go to LA and get a win against a good team on the road. So
Definitely.
I'm feeling a lot more confident in these type of games last year. I would have never thought we'd be at a level where we could beat the Ravens on the road or put up a good game against the Bills on the road. But I think we're at that level now. So I'm gonna be more optimistic this season about these games.
All right, so let's keep that optimism going and give our picks for the whole season.
Yeah.
To give a record for the season. All right, Zach?
I think the Dolphins have a very tough schedule this year. We're playing some tough divisions. Obviously, our own division, AFC West, NFC East. So it's not going to be easy. But with that being said, I still think they're going to be great. So I will pick them to go 11-6 this year.
Oh, took the words right out of my mouth. 11-6 was my pick, like I said. I do think that they face a lot of tough teams this year, obviously, in division. I expect them to sweep the Patriots. Tua Tagovailoa does tend to have the Patriots' number whenever they do play.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to continue that this year. But those games will be close. I think that we'll split games with the Jets. We'll split games with the Bills. Some key games to keep your eyes on. When we go to Frankfurt, play the Chiefs. We'll play the Cowboys, America's team.
Yeah.
A few interesting games. Obviously, we've talked about Week 1 against the Chargers. It'll be interesting, but 11-6 is my pick. I don't think we're going to win the division. I do think it'll be close. It'll be within a game or two.
Yeah.
But I do think that they will be getting the first wild card spot.
I'm cautiously optimistic because you said we're going to split games against the Bills. I think this will be the first time in ages that we're going to beat the Bills on the road, I think.
Wow.
So,
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, we almost did last time.
We almost did.
Well, that was a crazy game.
And that wasn't even like Tua's best performance ever. Like, and Tyreek Hill played pretty poorly that game too.
Yeah.
And they still gave the defense an 8-point lead, I think, heading into the fourth quarter. So I think this is the year we're finally going to get a road win over the Bills. And there's a couple games here and there that just, you can't predict every game. What looks like a win might not be. The Lions last year we thought were going to be easy win, and they jumped out to a 14-0 lead.
Disappointing.
But I'm going to go 12-5.
12-5. Wow. So you're
cautiously
optimistic.
I am cautiously optimistic.
So if Alfredo's gonna be cautiously optimistic, I'm gonna be cautiously pessimistic. All right, y'all two said 11,
Well, I say
11-6. No, I'm not crazy.
My fault.
I'll be a little cautious about it. I'll pick 10-7.
Okay.
10-7 is
That's
a safe, on the lower side. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
it's a fair record.
Fair
We're all
record.
pretty close.
Yeah,
to
we're all within the same ballpark.
We're all within the
record.
same. Obviously, I want you to be right.
I hope so, but I don't know. I don't have a good track record.
But
with
I'm really hoping the Dolphins fans are predicting us to go 17-0. Please don't do that.
Bro,
It's-
about a repeat. Let's run it
back
back.
to history.
We'll run it back. We'll run it
It
back.
would be the second time to do it. So.
That's crazy.
If anything,
But yeah,
B-side record, it should be us,
It really
it
should.
should.
that
It
would
really
be that
should.
would be poetic, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now that the predictions are in, that is, that's it for the first episode. It's exciting. A new season,
Yeah.
new co-hosts. It's a good season. We got new set decorations, bro.
A lot to look forward to.
A lot to look forward to. All right.
God, we hope, man. Because last year at 3-0, we thought we were on top of the world. I don't know if you remember.
I think that makes all of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, that's the end of this episode. It's been your boy Esteban Big Guapo Rodriguez.
I'm Alfredo, the leader of Tunon.
I'm
And-
Anthony Little Amigo Milian.
Is that your nickname?
That's my nickname.
The Little Amigo.
On
Yeah.
Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok, wherever you go.
Damn,
Little
the
Amigo.
whole plug. All right.
And I need a nickname apparently. My name is Death. I need to figure that out. We'll talk about
Oh my God, another Anthony, bro. Another. He
Shout
took
out
a-
our former co-host. Check out his articles.
Shout out to him.
Never forget. You know what I'm saying? Well, that's.
Thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, we'll
Fins
see
up.
you, Lee.
Fins up.
Yes, sir.